How did you end up becoming a teacher at HFS?
How did I end up becoming a teacher at HFS? Well, I actually came here to study my postgraduate certificate in education, and Mr. Green, the principal, was my mentor. And I think I impressed him a lot, and he really wanted me to come and work for him. So I got offered the job after I finished my training, and that's how I ended up here.
What makes you really happy?
What makes me really happy? So many things make me happy. I think the main thing that would make me happy in the school are little acts of kindness. Now that might not be surprising to many of you, but I love to see students being super kind to each other. I love hearing people saying please and thank you. And out with school, silence makes me happy because, as you can imagine, in school being a teacher, it's very, very noisy every single day. So sometimes I like just taking a quiet walk and listening to the birds sing in the trees.
What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? Do you mean in the school or out with school?
In school.
In school. I think the big thing for all the teachers and you guys is moving to our new building. We're all very much looking forward to having our lovely big new school with our fancy football pitch and basketball court, and I can't wait to get into my pink classroom. It's very big and pink and beautiful.
What do you like more, dogs or cats?
What do I like more? Actually, you might not believe it, but I'm not actually a big animal fan. When I was young, I got bit twice by big dogs, by an Alsatian dog. I was riding my bike when I was about 8 years old, and the dog jumped up and bit my side. And ever since then, I've been quite scared of dogs. So, sorry, I can't answer that one.
What were you like at school?
What do you all think I was like at school? I think if I was to ask you guys that question, you might say I was really kind, but actually, I always wanted to be cool. So I studied very hard. I always got great grades, but I was also a bit naughty. I was a very high achiever, always did my homework, always wanted to get the best grades, but I also wanted to be in the cool gang at school. So I think I was, in between being a geek and a cool dude. Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
In Korea, over the years, I have come to love kimchi and tofu because I'm a vegetarian, and tofu is usually what I eat instead of meat, and I really love it with kimchi.
When you were a kid, did you ever dream of becoming a teacher?
When I was a kid, what did I want to be? When I was little, I used to want to be a dentist. My dream was to become a dentist. I absolutely loved going to the dentist, and I think that might be why I quite like having my braces now. I really enjoy going there. I remember when I was young, the dentist used to always give me stickers, and I loved getting these stickers. So most children would be sitting in the waiting room crying, where I would be like, yeah, I'm going to the dentist today. So I always wanted to be a dentist, but I went and did some work in America at a camp when I was about 18 years old. And that's when I realized that I had a really natural ability to connect with children. And in my camp, I taught many sports, and I went hiking with them, we did canoeing, and from then I started thinking that I would like to do something working with children. What frustrates me? A mess. I hate messy places. I love organization. So I can't work in a messy classroom. I can't work with messy lesson plans. I like to have everything nice and organized, and I get very frustrated if it's not. What kind of atmosphere do I try to create? I think the most important thing is making the children feel loved. I think that if a teacher can build great relationships with their students, then the children really want to learn. So I try to create an atmosphere where my children feel seen, heard, and cared for. And I love to make things interactive and fun. So I think that if a child enjoys coming to school every day in my class and they have fun whilst learning, then I think that that makes my job very much worthwhile, and yeah, it makes it fun for the students too.
What is special about HFS?
What is special about HFS? I would say the small community that we create. So we're a very small school, aren't we? Yeah, we're a small school, and I love that I know every single one of your names. I love that I can chat to you all in the playground, see you eating your lunch every day, and I love the family of teachers and friends that I have here. It's a very nice network of people that I work with, and I think we make a really good team because there's not many of us. You know, there aren't many of us, and yeah, the community that our school creates is really, really nice.
What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I think this past year was a very difficult year for Mrs. Sim. As you all know, I have 2 children. I was working full time and I studied my master's in education. It was a very, very big challenge. I had to use my growth mindset a lot last year, but I just found out yesterday that I passed, and I'm very proud of all the stress and effort that I managed to put into it and succeed at the end of it. Yeah, so I was very proud. Thank you. Absolutely a morning person. Jump out of bed at 5:30 a.m. every day, do my yoga, drink my water, go for a little walk, and then at night time I'll usually be in bed by 8:30 like this. Yes, of course. So my master's research involved a behaviour support programme. So I was looking at the effect that rewards have on children, and also the effect that emotional literacy. Now, emotional literacy is when we look at how emotions can affect our behaviour in class, and I was looking at ways that teachers can support children so that they feel comfortable and safe in class whilst learning. And I looked at a program called Positive Pathways, which was designed by a lovely teacher in England. And I tested this behaviour support program with my students last year. Jay, you know it, don't you? And it had a really big impact on their behaviour and how they could talk about their emotions, and in turn, them being able to self-regulate, and for them to be able to self-regulate and not let their behaviour affect their learning was great to see. And overall, my research showed that it was a very powerful and impactful program for students in class. What is it like seeing my kids during school time? It has its good points and bad. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to play 2 roles as mummy and teacher. But I think that both my children do well trying to view me as mum and call me Mrs. Sim, view me as mum at home and call me Mrs. Sim at school. But it's not an easy thing. Some of my students say, I wish my mum was my teacher, but actually it's better to have your mummy at home and a teacher at school. Keep them separate.
What do you like to do outside of school?
Outside of school. At the weekends recently, I really enjoy staying home. Now, I never used to be a stay-at-home person, but recently I have learned that I need to take a break sometimes. So as a teacher, I'm very, very, very busy. So at the weekends, I really enjoy staying home, reading some books, trying to watch some Netflix, but usually that doesn't happen. And I usually go and watch my son's football matches at the weekend. And I also go swimming sometimes with my family, and that's lovely. Got to stay healthy and all that.
Do you remember a teacher who had a great influence on you?
Do I remember a teacher who had a great influence on me? Yes, absolutely. My guidance teacher in secondary school, which is the Scottish equivalent of high school here, was a lovely man. His name was Mr. Ritchie. Now, Mr. Ritchie would do absolutely anything for his students, and I built up a very, very close relationship with him. And I think to this day, I still think about him a lot when I teach myself. I think about him a lot because of these three things. He was always kind to me. He was always very, very aware of how I felt in school. He always knew when something was wrong or if I was having any problems, and would always take the time to come and speak and make sure that I was okay. His lessons were engaging and fun, and I used to absolutely love going to see him every week. It was only a weekly class because he was my guidance teacher, but every single time I went there, I had a great time. As I say, he really went to great efforts to make me feel loved, cared for, and just try to make my school life really enjoyable, and I'll be forever grateful to him for that.